As we dive deeper into the home stretch of the elimination round here in the 9th season of the ASEAN Basketball League, the importance of games heighten, and we have an important one for sure here inside Stadium 29 as the Saigon Heat take on the Mono Vampire Basketball Club. Good day, basketball fans. Jut Sulit here with TK Kosambun. TK, the team standings will tell you just how important and how significant this game could be.
Yeah, as you see there, the Saigon Heat, they're just packed right in the middle, along with Macau, CLS Knights, Hong Kong Eastern, just there with those 12-11 wins. Mono Vampire themselves, they're at 7-14. They're up ahead the Malaysia Dragons by 1 game, but there are still plenty of more contests to heaten up this playoff race.
And really, right now, we have 3 teams officially clinching their berth in the playoffs. 1 team has already been eliminated in the Wolf Warriors. And pretty much, it's Westports, Malaysia, and Mono jockeying for that 8th position. Right now, Mono holding on. But if they lose this one, then they put themselves in a vulnerable situation.
But their situation there, they have 2 more games against the Dragons. Those are going to be the 2 important games for the Mono Vampires, but they can give themselves an advantage in their race by claiming a victory tonight against the visiting Saigon Heat.
It's going to be very important for these 2 teams, but this game actually has significance for other teams as well. In fact, 2 other teams, aside from Saigon, will be cheering against Mono. We'll talk more about that as we find out who are going to be the players for both teams.
Number 2, Henry Vian. Number 8, Dan Kong Trai. Number 11, Sang Din. Number 12, Justin Young. Number 17, D'Angelo Hamilton. Number 20, Chris Deager. Number 22, Corey Searier. Number 33, Kai Baroy. Number 24, Stefan Nguyen Tian Yu. Number 34, Tim Wan Well. And number 93, Tung Son Yujan. And head coach, Mr. Kai Julius. และลำดับต่อไปเป็นการประกาศรายนามนะคะทีมผู้เล่นค่ะจากทีม And now, Mono Vampire Basketball Club!
Oh, and a chase-out blocked.
First player number 24, Romeo Travis. Number 77, Shichai Ananti. Number 7, Michael Sigartari. Number 65, Tirawat Jantajan. Number 69, Durongpan Apirong Wilai. Number 0, Tyler Lam. Number 33, Nopon Santong. Number 79, Chittapon Toweroy. Number 1, Malcolm White. Number 11, Morse Morgan. Number 22, Frederick Jones. And number 13, Chanachon Glahan. Head coach, Mr. Madi Dagrat. This team, Mono Vampire Basketball Club!
Stadium 29, always a great venue for basketball action, especially in the 9th season of the ABL. Mono, of course, last year's finalists, runner-ups to San Miguel Alab, Pilipinas, but entered this season with a lot of troubles. But they are on the way. Well, they are hoping that they are on the way to salvaging that subpar start. They can still make it to the playoffs. But they'll be up against a formidable opponent here, coming from a big win at home. Saigon Heat taking that 32-point victory over the Wolf Warriors.
And in that game, the Saigon Heat were able to get down in the paint. As you see there, Kyle Barone just masterfully doing everything down low with 31 points. With him and D'Angelo Hamilton, now they're more of an interior team instead of launching it from downtown. And that's something that the Mono Vampire, if they have done their scouting well, will have to adjust to.
Absolutely. Now, let's also talk about the Saigon Heat and how one guy has stepped up for them. An unsung hero in Corey Celia. He got some floor burn and he showed why he deserved it, knocking down 4 triples in that game.
With the changes, as we mentioned, to D'Angelo Hamilton from Murphy Bernatowski, that leaves more opportunities from outside for the other players, especially with Sangdin injured as well. Corey Celia, he is a spot-up three-point shooter. That's his job. That's what he does, and that's what he's done well in that last game.
And now let's also talk about the 2 guys that will be manning the middle. Now these 2 big men, Kyle Barone and D'Angelo Hamilton, are surely going to give the Mono Vampire a difficult time, as well. They have Malcolm White, the Thailand team, but they are one of the smaller rosters in the league today.
Yeah, and we saw what the Saigon Heat could do against a team like the Wolf Warriors, who weren't that big as well. They just pounded it down in the paint.
Let's take a look at how Mono was able to take down a giant in Hong Kong Eastern. That's a big one that they got on the here at home rather. And what's impressive there, 28 points from Malcolm White and 70% from the field against Big Sam Deguara and Michael Holyfield.
And you see a guy like Malcolm White, you expect him to get those points by either dunking or power moves down low. But the more impressive part of that game was how he was able to utilize his mid-range game, those righty hooks that kind of got away from the inside presence of Sam Deguara.
Well, of course, if we talked about the 2 imports of Saigon, we also have to mention Malcolm White pairing up with Mike Singletary in that game against Hong Kong Eastern. They were at the forefront of Mono's attack.
Yeah, and these 2 guys, they have just been tearing it up for the Mono Vampire this season, especially Michael Singletary in particular. He's used to them already in this last 2 seasons. He's a leading scorer in this league.
If Mono can get this win over the Saigon Heat and they win the rest of their games, Saigon loses the rest of their games, there's a chance that these 2 figure in a tie. But Saigon has taken the season series with this game being the last one. So far, it's 3-0 for the Vietnamese.
Yeah, and they have done a good job of just taking control of the games that they should win, despite some injuries that have shortened them down the entire season. And right now, when everyone's starting to get healthy, the Saigon Heat are really bouncing back.
Justin Young will be starting for Coach Cal Julius, along with his regulars in the 3 imports, as well as Quatran. And now for Mono Vampire, you see this lineup full of talent, full of potential, and we know that both these teams made some changes in the middle of the season, particularly Mono, and a lot of people with the entry of Romeo Travis and Kyler Lamb, they said, oh, this is going to be a scary Thailand team.
And so far, they've proven them right. They've gone on a huge run these past 7 to 8 games with those 2 new guys. Remember that the first 3 matchups between these 2 teams, Mono Vampire looking very different. As you mentioned, the incoming talent of Tyler Lamb, incoming talent of Travis Roma. This is a whole new team that will be going up against the Saigon Heat, and they have got to be prepared for that.
And in black threads, Mono Vampire showing everyone that they are all business today. But of course, the Saigon Heat will not let up easily. Both these teams coming from wins, 2 consecutive for Mono, for Tyler Lamb and the guys, and for the Saigon Heat, they are coming off of that win in their previous match as well. As usual, the support always more than enough inside Stadium 29. Will that be the secret in powering their home team to a victory here? One they badly need. But on the other hand, Saigon would love to get their ticket to the quarterfinals here today on the road. That would also be a boost for them. Everything is set. Game about to begin. What's going to be the determining factor here in the early stages of the match, TK?
Well, as we've been going over and over and over again, the changes these 2 teams have gone through have really changed the way that they play, the way they look. Saigon Heat, they're now going down to the paint more. The Mono Vampire, they have more offensive options other than Singletary now. And the past 3 meetings, that's been a different game plan coming into each game. So it's going to be up to Coach Kyle Julius and Coach Douglas Marty on how well prepared they are coming into this final matchup.
It's also going to be interesting how Mono will be able to stop Kyle Barone. Well, the last 3 meetings that they had, there still was no Tyler Lamb, no Romeo Travis yet. And Kyle Barone, I know those 2 guys you mentioned on the side of Mono are not big men, but they could help in limiting Barone because he's on a rampage whenever they're facing the Thais, averaging 27.3 points, 17.7 rebounds, and 56% from the field in the 3 meetings between these 2 teams.
And Kyle Barone is such a great talent. He can do everything on the offensive floor. He can shoot the 3. He's an efficient scorer down low. Just does a little bit of everything, and he's going to force either Malcolm White or Romeo Travis out of his comfort zone.
There is a chance if Mono makes it to the semifinals or to quarterfinals that they end up meeting Saigon along the way. So it's also important that they get their confidence here in the last meeting between these 2 teams. At least get one in that season series.
For sure, important game right up here.
Hamilton loses the basketball. Singletary will take it. Running are the Thais. Lamb from outside, no good. He had a stellar game, stellar performance against his former team. Malcolm White attacking the inside. Doesn't get the roll there. Quatran to Barone. Early 2 points for the big man of Saigon.
And they have got to do a better job in transition. The Saigon Heat with Quatran, Trayvon Hughes, they can force turnovers and they can go out in a hurry. Kyle Barone is also ready to rim run, and that's just something that the Mono Vampire have got to slow down.
2-0, Saigon Heat. Aperon Villechai saw that he had strength advantage against Kwa. But it's Malcolm White who gets things going for the home team.
And he's continuing to show that mid-range jumper. He did that in the previous game against the Hong Kong Eastern, and he's still going.
That's what separates him from other big men. You see his build and you expect him to just always pound it down low, power himself in, but he has that sweet touch. So does Tyler Lamb, knocking down that 3.
Tyler Lamb missed his first one there, but you know, a guy like him doesn't get his confidence rattled easily.
And you know that he's always gonna let it fly, especially when he's here at home. A steal for Hughes. Almost lost it. Quatran. Another steal. Both teams exchanging errors early in the game. Lamb, Looper, doesn't get it. Neither does White on the putback. Durker already injected into the game. I believe that it was Durker who started the game instead of Young.
Maybe it would have been a quick change before the start. Coach Kyle Julius maybe want to add a little bit more size.
Well, Chris Durker, he also has been spectacular against the Thais. Averaged 15 points and 12.3 rebounds whenever he is playing against Mono. Barone looking for space over Travis. No go on that shot.
It was good defense there by Romeo, just to be able to stay in Barone's face, force him into a difficult jump shot.
Let's see what Mono can do now. White setting the pick. Sees that opening again. That mid-range jumper, 10 feet is money.
And teams have got to start game planning around that. It seems to be what the Mono Vampire have been going to out of that pick and sort of a semi-pop down in the mid-range area.
It's so difficult when White rolls hard to the basket, so you drop down and protect the paint, but then he has that 10 to 12 footer. Also a problem. Quatran misses. Saigon, after that fake first make from Barone, is struggling. Here's Singletary. Gets it off the glass.
Singletary, once he gets down in that left side, he just has an awkward way of being able to finish in transition.
Awkward or not, it works for Mono and for Big Mike. They are up by 7 points, 9-2. Saigon calls a timeout. Back inside Stadium 29 in Nonthaburi, Thailand, where, as always, the home team gets full support from the Thai that always comes in, you know, even before the game begins, maybe an hour or even two. They pack the outside where there are food stalls and they get their meals, and so by the time they're here, they're ready to get as loud as they can, and there's good reason to do that, as Malcolm White has teamed up with Mike Singletary and the rest of the gang to build an early 7-point lead.
You know, they're the Mono Vampire. They've done a good job of just building their fan base, established in 2014, and they've been doing a good job of steadily building up how much their fans love them, and you can see that here in the crowd.
TK, how was Mono able to erect this 7-point lead?
Well, Malcolm White, he's just been doing such a good job of getting into his comfort zone and knocking down the shots that he loves, and the team has been feeding him those opportunities as well.
They get a steal there, but unable to capitalize. Hughes, out to Young, now on the floor, replaced Turker. Trayvon against Tyler. Hamilton will set the pick. Hua, out to Young, corner three. Justin Young, no good. Calderon, the offensive rebound. 4 black shirts surrounding him, making it impossible to get a shot in. And on the other side, Mike Singletary ahead of everyone.
The thing about the Saigon Heat right now is that they look a little bit confused about what they're going to run on offense. It just looks a little bit slow trying to move the ball, getting into the positions they like. Maybe it's because they're not with Murphy Bernatowski anymore, but that's something that they need to figure out.
Well, it was towards the deadline of import replacements that Saigon decided that they wanted to go bigger. And so they went with a change, taking in that man, D'Angelo Hamilton, replacing Murphy Bernatowski, who had played all games up to that point where he was released. Was that a surprise for you?
That was quite a bit of a surprise since he had such a big role in the offense. But by replacing in D'Angelo Hamilton, you get a versatile defensive guy who can really guard all positions. As you see here, he's guarding Michael Singletary, who goes way out on the perimeter. That's the thing. That's the advantages you get from Hamilton. But on offense, you've got to figure out which roles that need to be changed to put Bernatowski out.
Well, you know what? Defense needs to be played by 5 guys as they leave Romeo Travis open. Double-digit advantage now for Mono. The spin for Hamilton. He's showing that he's not only built for defense.
Just a great move there, taking it right into the teeth of the defense. Strong move.
But on the other side, you know what Mono is doing? They're just looking for the gaps and the mismatches and attacking and attacking.
And Mono just has just so many mismatches because of the average height that they have throughout their whole roster. They don't have anyone who's extremely towering over the opposing team, but just from 1 to 5, it's just 6'5" up.
That's unlike last year where they had 7'5" Sam DeGuara, who they could just really lob the ball to and let Big Sam do the work underneath. Now they shifted up their offense, but still, since the entry of Travis and Lamb, they've been very, very effective. What did those 2 guys provide for this team that changed the complex of their game?
Just being able to initiate the offense for more guys, not only Jason Brickman and Sam DeGuara. Those 2 were kind of like the guys who started the offense each possession for the Mono Vampire. But now you have 4 guys that can actually come up the ball themselves, start the offense, get it going, and it's really looked well for the Mono Vampire. They've done a good job. Last game they had 30 assists. They're second in the league in assists in total, and that's just something that really helps out with the offensive flow.
Of course, remember that Mono also had to replace Jason Brickman, who led them, or helped lead them to the finals last season. And Brickman is the leading assist man in ABL history, and many were saying, now who's going to play the pure point guard for them when Brickman left? Well, Singletary, there you see him getting the bucket. He kind of took on that role, as well as Tyler Lamb. Of course, Freddie Lish also there in that mix. We haven't seen him in this game, though. In fact, the assist number of Mono even went up after Brickman's departure.
Exactly. Brickman, while he does get a lot of assists on his own, it kind of cuts off the ball movement from the other players. Not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing, but that's the result that is happening right now, that other players like Lamb, Romeo, and Singletary himself is able to move the ball a bit more.
Saigon Heat now 2 for 9 from the field. That's why they've fallen behind by 11 points. 3:50 to go in the first. Celia, count that as the 5th turnover of the Saigon Heat.
It's just been a struggle for the Saigon Heat just to get the ball into the positions that they want. It's a good defensive performance by the Mono Vampires so far.
And you know, Mono has just been making it so difficult for Saigon. And earlier they were getting steals. You see it here that it wasn't necessarily a steal, but it still led to a turnover for Saigon. However, the Heat also clamping down on defense, deflecting that pass. Mono gets it back. Travis against Durker. Interesting matchup here, but White gets open, and you know what's going to happen.
What a pass there by Romeo. Just a good recognition out of the double team in for the slam.
Travis Romeo can score. He can put that ball through the net, but whenever that is not an option, he has that ability to set his teammates up. A turnover as well for Mono. That's going to be their 3rd. I thought that pass was a bit ambitious. Singletary did not have the luxury of space along the sidelines.
Still, the Heat are down by 13 points. It's a pretty big gap. They've got to get their guy Trayvon Hughes going. He's been struggling in the past few games, shooting around only a bit over 30%. That's one guy that needs to get it going for the Heat.
And as you call on his name, Trayvon Hughes provides. 3-pointer is good for him. Oh no, you see them pushing that basketball. They see an opening. Once again, TK attacking the mismatches. White getting trapped with, well, the other way. It was Celia getting trapped with guarding White. And so they Mono immediately went with Malcolm getting the foul there.
And that's what you gotta love about Malcolm White too. He's just a big ball of energy who runs up and down the floor so fast. You see there in a couple of possessions already where he's almost the first guy up on the offensive side of the floor. So it's easy for him to be pinpointed with mismatches in transition.
Malcolm White, he's also been very productive up to this point. Joined the Mono Vampires start of the new year. And right now, up to this point, he's averaging 20.7 points, 8.2 rebounds, and about a gazillion dunks per game.
Well, Malcolm White, you remember his first game against the Saigon Heat, he also had 31 points, so he has their number as well.
Hamilton gets blocked there. Ball will stay, however, with Saigon. Malcolm White may not be the tallest guy, the tallest center in the league, but he can hold his own. You see him there showing his ability on the defensive end.
It's just his intensity and energy that really gives up for whatever he's losing on the height side.
How about 2 more blocks? Except there was a foul call on the last one. Did he get called for a foul? Or was it a shot clock violation? Looks like 3 clean blocks for White in that Saigon possession, and he forces a turnover.
Just the energy that he keeps on bringing on both sides of the floor. That's what's making him into a fan favorite here in Thailand.
Lamb going through staggered screens. Travis cross court to Singletary. Lish attacking, lost it. Good defense for Saigon, making sure they recover. And I don't think Hamilton appreciated the bump that happened there. Went straight to the referees complaining about a certain collision. We'll see it here again. Oh, he felt that White pushed him.
And Angela Hamilton, he's been going back and forth with White down in the paint for a couple of plays already. Probably feeling it a bit.
Player shuffles here. I believe these are going to happen for both teams. Sang Tong will be replacing Malcolm White. White exits the game after 8 minutes of action with 6 points, 3 rebounds, and those numbers, that number on your screens, 3 blocks.
It's an interesting move there by Coach Marty. He knows that he has the advantage over Coach Julius in the depth department of the team. He barely go 7 to 8 players in their rotation, and resting his key imports early might give them the advantage towards the end of the game.
Also, Barone at the 3-minute mark of the first quarter, he sat down. I thought that was early rest for the big man of Saigon, so that's also a reason why Coach Dog can't afford sitting down Malcolm White. A deflection for Saigon. Mono will have possession for the last 10 seconds of their shot clock. 1 minute and 40 remaining in the first. Still horrible shooting right now, TK, for the Saigon Heat. Only 3 for 16. That's 18%. While Mono is shooting 57, 8 for 14.
Well, maybe that's just some home court advantage right there.
And that's what's always interesting in the ABL. Take a look at a team like the Wolf Warriors, only winning 2 games in 22 that they've played. And those 2 games at home, that's really the advantage that you get when you're playing in front of your home crowd. Singletary, obviously in disgust of that whistle. He got called for a foul as Quatran will head to the free throw line. "12-point lead for Mono Vampire." What's the tone that they set here in the first quarter?
Well, the Mono Vampire, they've been doing just a really good job of sharing the basketball. 6 assists off 9 field goals. They're just moving the ball really well and having to forcing the Saigon Heat to move more on defense. That's going to tire them out if they can keep that up all game. On defense, though, Saigon Heat, they're being limited to how they move the ball, where they get it to, and that just slows it down and gets them into difficult shots.
And Saigon, they're also doing a good job on the offensive rebounding, but they're not being able to get that shot to fall in even on the second try. In fact, they have more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds at this point. 5 over 4.
Well, that's what happens when you're missing 14 shots from the field. You're going to get a lot more on that offensive end.
Travis, they call him mid-range roam, proving that point.
Calls himself the Southpaw Outlaw, proving that right there.
A good play by Travis. They send it out to Ananti. A bit of some panic there for Chichai. But Mono will keep the possession anyway.
You know, Chichai, he's got to have more confidence there, getting out into the fast break, because that's his calling card. He's a guy that can really burst out in the open floor in a hurry and finish those layups. But maybe this is just some jitters coming off the bench for the first possessions. He's really got to build up his confidence if he wants a bigger role in this team.
That's true. You know, sometimes even if you're a professional player, it's not that easy to just jump out of that bench and contribute immediately. Of course, it's a skill, maybe a gift for some players. And Ananti, we've seen him come off that bench and knock down a bunch of 3-pointers. It has happened in many games before, but it's not always Christmas, as they say. Singletary with a possession. 50 seconds remaining. Good inside pass to Travis. Rome to Sangtong. Good move there, getting Durker to bite on his pump fake, drawing the foul.
Just like the patience there by both Singletary and Romeo, getting the ball and just waiting for a slight opening to get their passes in. Singletary with a great inlet pass to Romeo. Romeo saw that he didn't have an open shot, waited for Sangtong to cut in, and it resulted in 2 free throws.
First one is no good for Sangtong. We'll have another one. Well, the troubles of the Saigon Heat, we kept mentioning it already. It's been on their field goal shooting. No player has made more than 1 field goal for the Heat. And we mentioned it earlier, they were shooting 18%. That number has dropped to 16%. 3 for 18, and obviously you cannot win a basketball game shooting like that. They have lots of time to make up for it, though. 3 full quarters and the 35 seconds that are left here in the first. Durker makes his move, steps back, And you see them, the Saigon Heat players now becoming hesitant to let that ball fly.
Right now, they're just not sure where the team is going to finish their offensive possessions, especially with Trayvon Hughes on the bench right now. Before, it might have been Bernatowski who was able to finish those plays, or even Barone, who's not on the floor right now.
Travis gets the steal, but he throws the ball right back. Wanted to get it to Sang Tong. About a second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Celia gets the pump fake. Kwa from deep. They needed that one. The Saigon Heat will end the first quarter with that three-point conversion. 21-12 is the score. Mono still ahead. We have 30 more minutes of basketball action in ABL 9 coming your way in just a bit. Second quarter underway inside Stadium 29 here in Thailand. The home team, Mono Vampire, up by 9 points. And it's been because of their defense limiting the Saigon Heat to only 4 made field goals in the first quarter. Let's see if the Heat can be better here in the second.
A big part of that was with Kyle Barone on the bench as well. So with him back on the floor, let's see how the Saigon Heat do.
It's also their turnovers. They had 7 in the first quarter and starts off the second period with another one. But they Saigon Heat forced Mono to an empty possession. Hughes looking to get going here, unsuccessful. Wow, he hit one earlier. Three-pointer is a miss this time.
Hughes is already 1 for 7 from the field in this game. And again, this is 2 straight games of Hughes struggling from the field, whether it's attacking the basket or making his shots. That's something that we haven't really found a reason for his struggles yet. It's a lingering injury. It's just a matter of the spacing of the floor.
As he finally gets something going, that could be a big boost for Saigon. How difficult is it, TK, for teams to be on the road, especially when the stadium is packed and obviously loud supporting the home team?
It's just something that gets you out of your comfort zone. You're used to another kind of environment, and you know how basketball players are creatures of habit. If something's a little bit off, it just kind of throws you off your game.
It's a lot like how muscle memory is a big thing in sports, not just basketball actually. Lish trying to defend Trayvon Hughes, which is easier said than done. Obviously, Hughes can pull out a number of tricks from his bag. Sangtong and Singletary will take their seats on the bench, as well as Ananti, as we get our first look at Moses Morgan in this game. Tyler Lamb and Malcolm White also checking back in.
Of course, Moses Morgan, a former member of the Saigon Heat, played with him for the 3 previous seasons.
And it was with the new rules of the ABL allowing 3 American imports, world imports, and pretty much getting a little bit more lenient with the local eligibility that allowed Tyler Lamb and Moses Morgan to return home to Thailand. Travis going for the reverse layup. Sweet move from Romeo.
That's something we haven't seen in a while. Travis usually likes to stay in that mid-range area, taking his jump shots or maybe setting up his teammates. Starting to get a little bit more aggressive here.
And he's now the leading scorer of Thailand with 8 points. As yet another turnover, TK, for the Saigon Heat. And again, their struggles from the field is coinciding with their struggles in taking care of that basketball, and that has led to a lot of problems.
It's just the spacing. It looks a little bit weird right now. It's just so many players packed down in the middle of the paint and not enough long-range shooters to really draw the perimeter defenders out.
Lish with a creative finish. Hughes with a basket. Hamilton falling away, still got it to go.
Hamilton there with 2 pretty tough jump shots in that area. Maybe we'll look to go a little bit more with that later in the game.
Travis trying to go to Morgan against a smaller Quatran. Moses backing down. Falling away, he gets the bottom of the net.
And Moses Morgan really needs that. His confidence has been down in the past few games. Just needs a little bit of something to fall for him to get his morale going.
Now you can feel that Trayvon Hughes is looking to take over here, producing 2 more points for the Heat. With all their struggles and all the turnovers they've committed, they're actually doing pretty good, just down by 9 points.
Yeah, and Trayvon Hughes, he's been doing a good job of just setting the offense and getting his shots. Just needs a little bit more to get back into this game.
Lish misses. Celia making it difficult for that guy. Saigon on the other side. Quatran gets away. And he was fouled on the way to the basket. He'll take a pair. Quatran has been a spark here for the Saigon Heat. He hit that 3-pointer at the end of the first quarter. And although they still entered the second period quite flat to begin with, they're slowly gaining their rhythm, and you can feel it.
And Qua is just an X factor in every game he plays. He's a really good young talent. Sometimes you get some head-scratching plays, those turnovers, those young turnovers that you need experience to overcome. But every now and then he flashes potential that really shows that he can be a big-time player down the road. And that's just something that he need more and more of if they want to win this game.
TK, Vietnam, Saigon Heat, one of the teams that really benefited from the change of the landscape and somewhat the eligibility rules of the ABL. Now they could be on their way to the quarterfinals if they can find a way to get back in this game. The beautiful and world-class stadium 29 here in Nonthaburi, Thailand, hosting the home team Mono Vampire as they take on the visiting Saigon Heat. As you can see, the support coming from all regions of the country, and that's what the ABL is, extending basketball's reach from, of course, the Southeast Asian region pretty much to the world. Thank you for joining us for this coverage wherever it is you're watching from. Right now, the Mono Vampire up by 7 points. Travis trying to get it to Singletary. Fall away off 1 foot, no good. Moses Morgan up high for that board. Really wanted it, but couldn't get the shot to fall down. Hughes had the opening. Lamb trying to give chase, but Hughes, bottom of the net.
Trayvon Hughes was able to knock down that shot, but he had Tyler Lamb, a 6'5" Tyler Lamb, just reaching out for the block. And just look at this lineup by the Mono Vampire. Tyler Lamb, Moses Morgan, 6'5", 6'6". You got Singletary, White, and Romeo. That's a tall lineup there for Mono Vampire.
Singletary drops the semi-hook. Singletary just has a lot of ways in scoring that basketball.
It's just a natural score.
Good defense for Travis. We have to get the official count of how many steals Romeo Travis already has. That is also going to be his 10th point as he gets nothing but nylon on that jumper.
As you said, they're 10 points by Romeo, but also 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and that should be 2 or 3 steals already in this game.
Well, Mono Vampire has a lot of steals already. They have 6 in this game. So that's 6 out of the 10 turnovers of the Saigon Heat were because the Mono Vampire just took that basketball away from their opponents. Take a look at the collision here. Malcolm White and even Moses Morgan afterwards, they can feel that Trayvon Hughes is already gaining his rhythm, starting to catch fire. That's why those little nudges trying to get him off of his game, they have been successful. They forced that miss. No one guarding Singletary initially. The closeout just came in time. 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Singletary wants it against Quatran. Good read by the guard of Saigon, deflecting that pass, leaving 8 seconds on the shot clock of the home team.
There was some lack of movement away from the ball there by the Mono Vampire. Kind of really left everyone standing still, and that's why Tran was easy to get that deflection.
I think with the lineup right now of Coach Dog Marty, he's looking for the guy that Quatran is guarding because that should be a mismatch in terms of size. Whoever it is that he'll be guarding. He did mention that the smallest guy on the floor for Mono Vampire stands about 6'4". Barone almost got away, but he traveled there. That's going to be a turnover. Barone unhappy with that whistle.
Barone, he is really struggling. He only has 3 attempts so far in this game, making only 1, and coming out of a game where he scored 31 points. That just really compiles everything, along with the 10 turnovers that the Saigon Heat have committed so far in this game.
And we highlighted how well Barone has played against Thailand in the 3 games they've matched up against each other. As you take a look at that fantastic find, Morgan finishing it with that hook shot. After averaging 27.3 points in their first 3 matchups, Barone limited to 2 points, but it's Quatran providing here now with 10 points after that triple. But even before we could finish that sentence, Malcolm White already with an answer.
So yeah, the Vampire just sprinting out in that open court and retaliating in a hurry.
You cannot turn your backs on Mono Vampire. Anytime you make a shot, they're already on their way to trying to get that back. Barone almost losing real estate. Thurker out to Qua. Hits another 3.
Quatran heating up. 2 straight triples already and 13 points to lead the team.
White got clipped there by Barone. And Kyle Barone really frustrated here in the first half. Nothing has gone his way so far. 1 of 3 from the field. He picks up his first foul. also has 3 turnovers. And you'll really get frustrated if you know that you've lorded over that opponent, that specific opponent in your previous meetings.
Yeah, but Cal Barone has got to realize too that this is not the same team. They have more thick down low, Malcolm White, Travis Romeo. Moses Morgan is now shifting to play more down in the post, and that kind of doesn't give you a lot of space to operate down low, as Cal Barone should feel by now after his previous turnovers.
But this is something that Saigon can capitalize on. Mono has yet to make a free throw. 0 for 5. Trayvon Hughes quickly on the other side. Mono forced to reset. Travis gets it to Lamb. Romeo also looking to set the pick. Lamb will take the three-pointer, will miss. Hughes grabbing the board. Trayvon in and out. Barone thought about it. Will have to pass it out. Young, a bit reckless towards the basket, but he gets bailed out by a foul call.
It was a good cut by Justin Young, just streaking up the court, able to bail out Barone, who was running out of options.
It wasn't the best of offensive attacks there, but Saigon will take this. They got fouled. They will shoot free throws. They can get within 3 points if Justin Young can make both.
Justin Young, though, also a big factor coming into this game. He wasn't available in the previous matchup, suffering that early season injury. Now he's coming back. He's been inserted back into the starting lineup. Just a guy that Coach Kyle Julius really relies on for those hustle plays and those defensive efforts.
That's right. Remember the very first win that the Saigon Heat collected in this season as Lamb hangs in the air, defies the defense. Boy, what a shot. You know, Lamb is known as a shooter here in the APL, but every time he attacks the basket and comes up with those nifty moves, you have to appreciate them. Kuala will shoot over Travis. Sort of a heat check for Quatran. Durker almost lost it. Morgan, good help from the blind side, but Saigon will keep it with 13 seconds.
And as you were mentioning about Lamb earlier, once he gets inside, he has those really smooth moves to finish, but so far in this game, that's only his 5th point. He's taken 6 attempts already in this game, so not really his usual efficient scoring game, but he already has 5 assists, so that's a role that he's kind of accepted more in setting his teammates this year.
Pass too strong for Quatran. Miscommunication between him and Kyle Barone. Barone telling his point guard to settle down. And the last thing you want to do at this point if you're Saigon is panic, because you're still in the game very much. So, you know, you can't allow yourself to commit useless errors. Good intention for Singletary. Nice slip too for Klahan, but the defense read it. 7 seconds remaining on the shot clock of Mono. They have to go quickly here. Morgan, ball stripped away by Hughes.
And for the Saigon Heat, that's where it's got to start on the defensive end, just getting those stops, not turning the ball over, obviously.
Trayvon out to Young, hesitated on the outside shot. It's a foul on Singletary. He's not happy about it. Oh, you rarely see a player who will not complain, whether or not he's guilty. You see some players, TK, well, you see them complaining, and then you get a glimpse of the replay. It's obviously a foul on them, but they would just rather try and get away with a complaint.
Well, rarely you see anyone just kind of accept. But in their case, sometimes it's just a way of showing the refs to maybe take a little bit closer look on them. Maybe for the next time they get the benefit of the doubt from the refs as well.
That's right. Justin Young trying to bring his Saigon Heat closer, but he's hearing it from the fans under the basket. Many ways that fans can show their support, but everything that the Mono fans were doing did not work as Young goes 2 for 2 from the line. Exactly a minute remaining in the first half. Singletary Pass it right now. Tries to go to Lamb. A steal by Trayvon Hughes. Hughes already with 2 steals. He stops. High looping shot, no good. Gets that board. Bad fall for Hughes. Durker steps out. Nothing on the 3. Transition attack. Singletary. Cross the foul on Young. And he will shoot a pair. Will Mono finally get something from the free throw line? In 19.5 minutes of play, TK, they are 0 for 6 from the free throw line.
And that's why the Heat are still only down by 5 points. They've just been unable to capitalize their efforts from the line here. Singletary will get 2 decent shots here, and he's a good free throw shooter. As we see him miss another one. So
yeah,
still,
he's now 0 for 3.
Yeah, so still leaving these opportunities to just get up ahead and build a lead heading into the locker room, and that might hurt them in the second half once the Saigon Heat get to be able to talk things out and reset their game plan.
Allow me to correct myself. Singletary is just 1 for 2. Quick trigger from Quatran. He misses, allowing this possession for Mono Vampire. I don't think it was the brightest shot there. They could have burned some clock and opted for a wiser attempt. Lamb versus Hughes. The switch puts Baron on Tyler. He's trying to go. Klahan ran out of space. Singletary, or that's Morgan, who will miss at the buzzer. Lots of action to end that first half, but no points being scored. It's still Mono Vampire up by 6 points, but the Saigon Heat, a much better second quarter for them.
Yeah, it's just a great way to finish for the Saigon Heat, able to be within range. They were unable to get points on their end, but still down by only 6 points despite all the turnovers and all their mishaps on shooting the ball. They're still pretty much in this game.
As we take a look at the game leaders right now, Romeo Travis, and is quite surprisingly Quatran leading the scoring in for the Saigon Heat. He hit a couple of 3-pointers, 3 actually out of 7 attempts. And we'll have more ABL basketball for you guys in just a bit. Back inside Stadium 29 here in Antapuri, Thailand, where the home team, Mono Vampire, up by 6 points, 40-34 at the half. Jot Sulit with TK Kultumbun here to deliver this game to you guys. And TK, just walk us through what happened in that first half. How did Mono Vampire get this 6-point lead?
Well, the Mono Vampire, they're shooting 55% from the field, just blistering from everywhere on the court. Another big point is that they already have 17 assists off of those 19 field goals. So again, just doing a good job of sharing the ball and just finishing those shots. On the other hand, though, the Saigon Heat, they've just been turning the ball over so much, 12 times already in the first half. That's an area that they've got to fix here in the second quarter. And as we mentioned, the free throw shooting of the Mono Vampire, they're only 1 of 8. If they make a little bit more, it could have been a bigger lead. Right now, they only hold a 6-point lead heading into the second half.
Well, also, you know, the field goal shooting of Saigon Heat, it earlier had them in a hole, but they were able to climb out of it, shooting much better. They started the game 3 for 18 from the field, and then since then they started shooting 9 for 16. So they kind of upped that to 35%, which is, well, you still want that number a little bit higher if you're a Saigon Heat fan, but it's much better than shooting 18%. Something that has not worked for Saigon so far is the duo of Kyle Baron and Chris Durker. As we kept on mentioning since the start of this coverage, 27.3 points in the 3 games that Kyle Baron has played against Thailand. In this game, after the first half, only 2 points. Durker averages 15 points against Thailand. He has none in this game yet.
And they just had to adjust, and they're going out to the perimeter more. Chandang Kwa with 13, and there we go. That's the start that they want for the Saigon Heat. Once Chandang Kwa has been able to draw the perimeter defense out, that just leaves more space, and Kyle Baron taking advantage of there with the slam.
Beautiful feed there, and an emphatic finish for Baron, pretty much releasing his frustrations on the rim. Trayvon Hughes trying to explain his way in a funky manner, saying that he did foul Lamb, but the foul was whistled. It's only the second on Hughes. Screen-to-screen action. Oh, Lamb erases the defense with that crossover, but he doesn't get the shot. White on the third try. He wanted it to fall down, but he'll take 2 free throws. The only problem, he's 0 for 4 from the line.
Again, the offensive rebounding, the Mono Vampire just using a little bit of that size, getting their second chances down low.
How insane is 17 assists in the first half alone? That's a big number for Mono Vampire.
That's a product of them just having so many efficient offensive weapons. White, Singletary, Travis Romeo starting to get his own. Tyler Lamb, he can make his shots. Just everybody being able to score means that each pass could land eventually into 2 points.
What a block there. The rejection from Hamilton. He is a 2-time VBA Defensive Player of the Year. Tran from deep. Not that time. But a foul is going to be called on Apiron Vilaichai. Trying to get position on that rebound play. But you know, we did not get a chance to mention Malcolm White going 0 for 2 again on that trip to the line. He's 0 for 6 now from the free throw line. Huge, quick trigger, no good. Malcolm with the rebound.
Maybe Malcolm White just gotta take those free throws jumping, because he's been knocking down his jump shots.
Yeah, which is weird because in the course of a game, you will see him get those free throw line jumpers. But then when, well, there's a different kind of pressure when you're not, when you're just alone in that free throw area, everyone looking at you practically. You know what he should do? He should have either Romeo Travis or Singletary pass the ball to him from wherever, and before he takes that free throw. Maybe that takes some of the pressure away.
We'll see if he adjusts that later.
Mike Singletary misses. Tran, smallest guy on the floor, and grabs that board. Only a 4-point advantage for Mono Vampire. The Heat trying to trim that. Durker from deep. Chris Turker, his first points of the game. And that gets the Saigon Heat within 1 point, 40-39. A quick timeout now called by Coach Doug Marty of Mono Vampire. The Saigon Heat, they came up with that big highlight. The Kwa to Kyle Barone alley-oop to open up the second half. And after that, several sequences later, Turker hitting a three-pointer, and that gets them within 1 point. Mono Vampire has yet to score a single point here in the second half.
That play right there before the timeout, that was all Trayvon Hughes, and we've seen that earlier in this half as well. When Trayvon Hughes just drives straight into the middle of the paint, the defense collapses on him. That leaves the corner wide open. Chanakwa had an open opportunity as well, wasn't able to knock it down, but Jerker able to hit his.
Singletary, now to Travis, out to the corner, Lamb from deep. He answers with his own version.
Great find there by Travis Romeo, and he loves to operate from that free throw line as well. Opens up so many opportunities for the Mono Vampire when he gets the ball there.
Hughes setting up the play again for Saigon. Turker feeds Hamilton in the post. He faces up against White. Banging bodies. Those two have been going at it since the first quarter. White asking where the foul was. But he will be built for that. That's going to be his third. He's got to be careful as we still have 17 minutes and 47 seconds left in this game. Turker may have gotten away with a hook, and that's why Singletary is upset. But he also gets the 2 points.
Also there, Malcolm White, he's got to watch out with his foul situation, because anytime that he gets into foul trouble, the Mono Vampire just struggle to hold down the paint.
Singletary got bumped there, no whistle. Good defense for Calderon. Hughes exploiting the defense. No good though. He gets the ball back. Catches Travis on the blind side. Hamilton. There's gonna be a foul. It's gonna be either on Travis or White. And this could be crucial if it gets called on Malcolm White. Looks like it will be on Malcolm, and you see the frustrations as he pulls his shirt off. Trayvon Hughes, a good pass there and there. Well, you did see Malcolm White hitting the arm of Hamilton. He will be stuck on that bench for a while, now nursing 4 fouls.
And that's a tough break. You're just recently recovering from a turnover there. With great hands by Trayvon Hughes coming out after the Mono Vampire were just about to break into the open court. It's just a tough situation for Malcolm White, just sprinting back and having to defend D'Angelo Hamilton off a pump fake. Just a difficult situation for him, and can't help but to foul him.
Hamilton brings the Heat again within 1 point of Mono Vampire. Romeo Travis, joined by Mike Singletary, Tyler Lamb, Sang Tong, and Apirom Vilaichai on the floor.
And foul.
So the second motion,
Number 17.
we saw that push from Singletary, and the two of them getting right at each other. Players starting to get upset now.
these two just really emotional players, and they've played against each other here in the Thailand League sometimes, so they have a history going back and forth, but more of it is just the competitive fire in both players and setting this up.
Singletary throws the ball away. Well, throws it back to Singletary, who heaves it to Travis, who gets fouled from behind. But I thought that was a good play for the ball from Durker. It was a hard foul, but he was obviously going for the basketball, so it was just a regular.
Second personal foul. And shooting
as you see there, Durker, just a good attempt going at the ball. He knows he has the athleticism to challenge that properly, and he goes for it. Good defense there.
Romeo Travis actually, towards the end of his sprint, kind of slowed down, not realizing that there was a guy who was going to catch up to him.
Romeo, he also is recovering from a knee injury. Suffered earlier in the past few games from the Mono Vampire, so he maybe wants to be careful when attacking the basket like that.
Hamilton lost the basketball. Mono again on the run. Palma Piron Vilaichai, bothered by the defense, wayward on his attempt. Barone getting to his spot, puts it up, we'll take a pair. Do you think Romeo Travis has a case? He's asking for a traveling violation.
I think the ball was kind of bobbling around. I think the refs might have just let that go as continuation of his dribble.
Barone will head to the free throw line. Still not as productive as he was in previous matchups with Mono Vampire. But you can feel some energy building up within Kyle Barone here in the second half. Starting out the third period with that big alley-oop jam.
But it's kind of reasonable if you're the Mono Vampire that after being bullied by Barone in the past 3 games, there's got to be some changes need to be made, and maybe it's just those changes that are coming into effect here in this game.
Barone misses 2 free throws. Tyler Lamb trying to split the D, recovered his dribble. Singletary from the corner. Travis with a board. Romeo Travis doing the dirty work.
Able to get the position there against Kyle Barone down low.
That's 13 points for Travis. 4 rebounds as well. Hughes trying to buy some space. Trying to sell that foul too much. Great defense for Travis. Barone could not save that basketball. Lamb will get that lay-in over Durker and Hamilton. And a mini run for Mono Vampire gets them up by 6 again. Saigon Heat got as close as 1 point, but Mono had something in the bag to give in return. 5:40 remaining in the third quarter. We head into a timeout. You're still watching Season 9 of the ABL. Romeo Travis doing the work here. 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. And he doesn't do it in a loud way. He just contributes every now and then, especially TK, when his team seems to be in a funk, which they were earlier here in the third quarter when the Heat we're coming back. And again, Travis taking over and just restoring order.
Yeah, and something that's not going to show up in the box scores is how much he impacts the defense in these previous 3 possessions. It's just been him spacing himself well on the defensive end and being able to get the Mono Vampire in transition.
He understood that with Malcolm White nursing 4 fouls now, he was badly needed. Sent a bullet to Singletary, but Mike could not hit the 3. Ball with the rebound. He's also calling the shots now. Puts up that 3-pointer, too strong. Trayvon Hughes recovers. Hamilton against Travis. Now it's Hughes. Gets past 2 defenders. Out to Durker. Hit 1-3 earlier, misses this one. Ball is loose. Barone gets to it and quickly puts up the 3, gets it to fall.
So the Saigon Heat just trying to spread out the floor a bit more, getting those 3-point shots going down. That's going to make it easier for them down low.
Travis over Barone. If I'm not mistaken, that's his first miss from the field today. No, he missed 1 already earlier. So right now he's 6 for 8, still very efficient. He also has 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Saigon knocking on the door of Mono Vampire. And now you feel the hurt or the pain caused by the missed free throws of Thailand, because now they could be enjoying a better cushion, more advantage, but it's just the inability to knock down free throws, and it's the same that's happening to Kyle Barone in Saigon Heat. That's already the 3rd missed free throw of Barone in this period alone.
Yeah, but going back to the missed free throws of the Mono Vampire, they could have been going into the second half with a double-digit lead, and that is a big deal in a basketball game, going into the halftime locker room with that kind of momentum, and that's starting to bite them.
Singletary to Travis. He gets that jumper, and at some point, Saigon will have to respect that, Jay.
Josh Romeo, as you mentioned, a highly efficient gamer, and he's reached down to the bottom of his shoe collection there. Those are the LeBron Soldier 3s. Those are old.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got those from LeBron himself, too. As Barone gets to the cup. Now that's the talent of a Kyle Barone. Why you need someone like him. He can knock down 3s, he can put the ball on the floor, he can get it in the post, and just so many ways to score.
Just an all-around efficient scorer. He had a little bit of a stretch where he struggled during the season. Maybe it was the injuries and stuff like that, but right now he's looking like he's bouncing back well.
And after missing his first 3 free throw attempts, knocked down 2 straight. Barone up to 10 points now, 8 of those coming here in the second half, 3rd quarter particularly. Ananti goes to Travis. Lish from the corner, no good. Mono Vampire forced to play small here. With Sangtong, pretty much their big man. Hughes with the left hand, difficult shot, still gets it to go.
And how many times have we seen Trayvon Hughes just casually dribble into the paint and just patiently wait for the openings, whether it's just passing out to the corner or getting his shots like that.
And we are tied now, 50 apiece. Singletary against Young. Mike sent back by Hamilton. Koa up high to Barone, and now it's Saigon with the advantage. The lob, it wasn't the perfect pass, but Barone comes up with the 2 points. Lish gets it back. Sangtong to Travis. Barrels in, leaves it to Sangtong, who finishes with the deuce.
Still, the what a run this has been by the Saigon Heat, just putting their head down, never falling back despite how much they were down by.
Hughes jumps into the defense of Sangtong and may have bumped into the elbow of Noporn Sangtong. It was a big collision between those two men. You see it here. Oh, the forearm is where Hughes hit his face. They just call it a regular foul though. Morgan has checked back into the game. Sang Thong will head to the bench with 4 fouls that is. So it's now Sang Thong and Malcolm White who are stuck on the bench with 4 fouls. And yeah, go ahead, TK.
Well, the thing about here for the Mono Vampires is that you're not using Tirwa Chandrachon in this game. I heard that he suffered an injury in practice yesterday. That's been limiting him to the bench here. So it probably is a little bit serious, considering that after 4 fouls from Sang Thong, he has not logged a single minute. So that's something that Douglas Marty has not been able to use in this game, despite his recent performances in the previous games. And that's been a huge dent to the rotation of the Mono Vampire.
You know, Saigon has not been all that successful from the free throw line. They're only 10 for 16 at this point, but Mono is really worse at this point. 2 for 12. 10 misses from the free throw line. Travis gets it to Klahan. The pass to Travis, and Romeo able to get it in off the glass.
Great movement off the ball, great recognition by the players, getting Travis Romeo for an open basket.
So Romeo now is forced to play big. He's practically the center at this point, guarding Kyle Barone. Imagine the ends of the spectrum that he's had to play. Earlier, he was the one carrying the ball down for Mono Vampire and setting up the play. Now he's the one guarding Kyle Barone on the other side.
That just shows what kind of an all-around talent he is, being able to do a little bit of everything. And on the Saigon Heat end, they're just taking advantage of getting the ball to Kyle Barone and letting him do whatever he wants.
And Kyle Barone could still end up with a monster game here. Suddenly, he's working with a double-double. That's already 14 points and 10 rebounds for the center of the Saigon Heat. Lish. Ananti thought about the 3, but Hughes quick to close out on him. Kichai, 6 seconds left. They go to Travis. Travis gets fouled, and he really baited Barone into that foul. Great move by Romeo Travis.
And that just really got her hurt. Only 1 more second left on the shot clock. It's a slight touch, sending Romeo to the line.
Romeo Travis, the high point man for Mono Vampire in this game. After that free throw, pushing 18 points, as well as 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Mike Singletary, we're putting him on a triple-double watch. He has 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists.
However, it's not the usual efficient scoring game we're used to seeing from Singletary, and he's only 0 for 4 from three-point range. It's something that we're not accustomed to see him go through.
4 of 12 in total. Here's Hughes. Ananti chasing him. Miscommunication. Barone trying to send it to the corner to Koa, but the guard was about to go up. I think Koa expected the handoff. A minute and change remaining in the third quarter. Mono still up, but now just by 1 point. They were up by 13 at some point in the first half. Morgan goes to Lish. Freddie gets near the basket. In the land of giants, Freddie delivers the deuce.
You're going to need that kind of spark off the bench from Freddie, and a little bit more, especially with the depth disintegrating for the Mono Vampire.
Good defense for Singletary, pulling the chair from Barone. Mike coming up with a big stop there. And that's something they need, because Kyle Barone was going on a rampage here in the third quarter, and out of frustration, Baron commits his third foul. And that will also send Singletary to the free throw line, as Saigon is already in penalty. How soon do you think Malcolm White will be sent back into the game?
Well, right now, the Mono Vampire, as you see, they're still in the lead. They could build a bit more. They can, Coach Douglas Martin can sit a little bit more of Malcolm White on the bench. They're not in panic mode yet. And once Kyle Barone has already picked up his third personal foul here, he can chill a little bit more, wait until maybe a couple of minutes into the fourth quarter.
Singletary now with a double-double, 11 points. 10 assists, 3 rebounds away from a triple-double. Half a minute remaining. Hughes, the in and out. Would have been a great finish. But wild attempt there. Morgan goes to Lish. Freddie had to invent something there. Glahan, right place at the right time. Allows Mono to restart their offense. Let's see what they come up with. 8 on the 24. 10 seconds left in the game clock, rather. Lish, the crossover on Young. The step back. Jumper no good. There was a loose ball foul. Who's it going to be on? Everyone looking at the referees, asking what the foul was or where it was called. I believe Singletary will be billed for it. Oh, check that. The foul was on Saigon, I believe. So no foul.
I believe there wasn't a foul. There's just a bit of a miscommunication. Saigon ends up with the ball anyways to close the quarter.
It would have been a big shot there for Hamilton, but it goes off. Saigon Heat got within 1, but in the end, Travis and Singletary finding ways to give the advantage back to Mono Vampire. They will enter the fourth quarter with a 5-point lead, 60-55. Fourth and final quarter already has begun here inside Stadium 29. Thank you for joining us wherever you're watching this game from. This is your Season 9 of the ABL. Jot Sulit and TK Kusambun delivering the action from Thailand. It's a tough battle between the home team Mono Vampire and the Saigon Heat. TK, could you just please explain the implications of this game?
Well, right now the Mono Vampire, they're only one game ahead of the Westport's Malaysia Dragons. They're fighting out for the 8th seed and the final spot in the playoffs. Mono Vampire at 7-14. The Dragons are 6-14. If they win this game, that gives them a big push heading towards into this final stretch. But if they lose, that means that Saigon Heat, the CLS Knights, and the Hong Kong Eastern basketball team all clinch a playoff spot if Mono Vampire lost. So a big game for those teams and for the Saigon Heat.
How do you like the new format of the ABL? Of course, you have 10 teams, and there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be 2 teams eliminated heading into the quarterfinals, which is quite something new to that quarterfinals, an additional phase in the format of the ABL.
Well, playoff action is so intense and so good for fans. This is good entertainment, and if you can stretch it out, you want to do that, and that's what we're getting here in this 9th season of the ABL.
Additional basketball, can't complain about that. 5-point lead for Mono Vampire. Neither team has scored in the 4th. Hamilton barreling in, gets the bucket and the bonus. And D'Angelo Hamilton making the most of the time that Malcolm White is not on the floor as he committed his 4th foul early in the 3rd quarter. Hamilton a force to reckon with, especially when paired up with Kyle Barone.
Yeah, right now, D'Angelo Hamilton, he's got to be the guy that the Saigon Heat are going to go to, especially with this short lineup that Coach Douglas Martin is starting out with. Singletary and Moses Morgan are the biggest players right now on the court for the Men in Black.
With 8.5 minutes remaining, what's the question mark for these 2 teams? It could be one for Mono and one for Saigon.
Well, the Mono Vampire, they just got to hold out for their 2 main big men, just get back on the court, just maintain their lead. It should get easier once those guys come back. For the Saigon Heat, they just got to get their offensive rhythm back together, maybe wait it out until Kyle Barone is able to get back into the game. Trayvon Hughes has got to step up in his efficiency of not only making his shots, but just giving the ball around to his teammates.
Oh, one guy who replaced White earlier and took on the cudgels of guarding the inside was Noporn Sangtong. Only problem was he also committed his 4th foul. Lamb also not on the floor for Coach Doug Marty. Hasn't had the kindest of outings here against Saigon. Koa, hand off to you. Trayvon wanted to go inside, the ball taken away. Singletary asking, complaining. He's unhappy about something. Was he unhappy about the foul call because he knew that he could take on the defender?
Yeah, probably wanting an unsportsmanlike foul there on Hughes, but Hughes is a smart defensive player. He knows how to exactly exert the physical contact without being too obvious about it. Just being able to stop the Mono Vampire in the open court.
Oh, now Malcolm White returns to the floor for Mono Vampire. Let's see how much impact he can make with 8 minutes and 4 seconds left in the ball game. It's Singletary, Lish, White, Travis, and Ananti. The pass intended for Travis, taken away by Koa, who goes to the basket for the Deuce.
Great confidence there by the youngster. He had Freddie Lish all on him. He could have dropped it off to a teammate, but just going up there with the confidence that he has, that's a good sign for the Saigon Heat.
15 points for the young guard to lead all Saigon scorers. Lish from deep. Freddie misses. Rebound taken by Hamilton.
Communication there by Romeo and White. They both had a hand on the ball, but unable to come up with it.
Hamilton barrels in, and you can tell that the movements of Malcolm White limited by the 4 fouls that he's nursing. Young straight to the basket. White could no longer defend.
Good recognition there by Justin Young. He's taking it straight to the hoop.
2-point lead now for Saigon. They were down by 13 back in the first half. That has drastically changed. And all that needed to happen was the Heat seeing their shots fall in.
Personal foul and substitution.
Young also picking up his 4th foul. There are a couple of guys also on the side of Saigon nursing foul trouble. That's Foran Young, Hughes and Barone with 3 each.
And if the Mono Vampire can attack and get Trayvon Hughes, that's a big player. If you can get him into his 4th foul, pressure him into that a bit, that kind of really throws the Saigon Heat both offensively and defensively off their course.
Lamb with the inbound, having a difficult time. Sends it far back to Travis. Lamb coming out. Good intention, sending it to Travis. The door was closed initially. Romeo misses, and that will be the 5th foul on Malcolm White. He was caught pushing Kyle Barone. And TK, that's probably one of the worst ways to commit your final foul.
And that's an easy one to call against Malcolm as well. There was only 2 guys down in the paint. His positioning was awkward already from the beginning, and once a guy like him goes up as physically as he does, it's an easy call from the refs.
Obviously frustrated Malcolm White will have to sit out for the rest of this game. Something that Saigon can capitalize on. Oh, Barone may have gotten away with a dribbling violation. I thought that ball got caught up with his hip. Hamilton to Young. Justin Young. That's back-to-back hits that he's provided. And credit also his teammates for feeding him in the right spot, in the right position. And now the Saigon Heat ups their lead to 4 points, 64-60, as we head into another timeout called by Mono Vampire. Koa Tran has been the provider here for the Saigon Heat. He leads the team with 15 points, but more impressive than that, also with 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. He hasn't committed a single foul here.
Just a great performance by the youngster. He's settled himself already as the future of the Saigon Heat and already of Vietnamese basketball. He can play for the national team as a local, and that's something that the Saigon Heat have really benefited from this season.
Sang Tong getting that pass from Lam, unable to score. I think that's also what the ABL has done for countries and for national teams. They've allowed those guys or those teams to discover talent that maybe before were not on the radar of countries. Hughes steps into a 3, bottom of the net.
Trayvon Hughes, no matter how he struggled, we've seen him throughout all of this season knock down those threes with the hand of his face time and time again, and he's just that kind of player.
Travis to Sang Tong. We're back to get that bag, nothing but nylon.
We don't get to see that much from Sang Tong, but he has that range. He showed that in the local leagues. Coach Gunnis Marty has been hoping that he can do a lot more of that in this season.
Of course, Naporn Sang Tong also has to be careful. He has 4 fouls. That's why Barone attacked him, understanding the opportunities that there are. Under 5 minutes to play, the Saigon Heat from down 13 have built a 6-point advantage. Hughes with a steal. Trayvon to Hamilton, and fouled by Romeo Travis. Romeo saying Hamilton travel. Did he? I thought that was clean. I mean, there was no travel, but obviously a foul on Travis. Caught a chunk of the arm.
Going back to the defensive possession by the Saigon Heat, an underrated defender is Trayvon Hughes. You get caught up by how well he is on offense, just knocking down threes, getting into the paint, but Trayvon Hughes is a phenomenal defender. He's one of the reasons why Tyler Lamb has been struggling to even get his shot off in this game. He just sticks to them, goes over screens. He just knows how to play defense. It's just a phenomenal defender all around.
Romeo Travis getting teed up because of his complaining, and you can hear it over our microphones that he was asking for a traveling violation. Now, if he was asking for a traveling violation on Hamilton, I did not see it on the replay. Well, maybe it was elsewhere that he was complaining and he was asking the referees to take a closer look. He was called for a technical foul, and Hughes capitalized on it, draining the free throw. Hamilton could not knock down that first free throw. He will have another one. What a comeback, though, for the Saigon Heat. Just did not give up at any point. It showed a lot of heart.
And the Saigon Heat, with a coach like Kyle Julius, they're known for their grit. They hustle every game. They just never back down, and that's why they'll be able to come back.
How about Tyler Lamb flexing those muscles and saying that we won't back down either. We won't give up. Mono Vampire, a crucial make here, and there's still a lot of time to try and get that lead back, as Young will be the first to foul out on the side of Saigon. So that's one man down for both teams. Justin Young for Saigon and Malcolm White, who left the game with about 6 minutes remaining. Here in the fourth quarter, committed his fifth foul.
Young's been a big part of the Saigon Heat and their run back into this game. He's been a great defender, but Coach Kyle Julius is able to bring in Chris Jerker, as you see there on the screen, off the bench, and that's still a pretty big deal. Jerker's a strong guy who's also quick on his feet as well. He's going to be able to give the Heat what Justin Young was able to give.
Trayvon Hughes calling the shots now, orchestrating the offense. Barone setting the pick. Hughes goes to his big man, blocked by Sang Tong. Romeo Travis loses control. And that is gonna be steal number. It's been a lot of steals. 5 steals for Trayvon Hughes. Hughes asking his teammates to settle down. They give him space. Hesitation out to Hamilton. Money on the three.
A big shot there. Once again, it's just Trayvon Hughes cutting into the paint and kicking out.
Singletary, though, forcing that one up. He's done wonders for Mono in this game, but perhaps not making the best decision that time. Mike Singletary, although shooting just 4 for 13, he has 11 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, and 7 steals.
Still though, that's 2 air balls from downtown by Singletary. Just not one of those nights for him.
Hughes very patient on offense. Hoa lobbing it up to Hamilton. Was fouled. If it is on Sang Tong, then he will be the second guy for Mono to foul out. And it is on the Born Sang Tong. More trouble brewing up for Coach Dog Marty and Mono Vampire, as 2 guys who have filled in that center position have fouled out. Oh, he did get a lot of the arm of D'Angelo Hamilton.
Tong didn't have much of a choice there. D'Angelo Hamilton was just about to get up for an easy two, and instead here he misses the first free throw. So not exactly a bad foul from Sang Tong.
Well, right now, guys like Romeo Travis, Moses Morgan, they have to step up and do a better job in manning the middle. That's also going to be 4 fouls on Trayvon Hughes. A big development on the side of Saigon. This game really getting intense, TK.
Sorry.
I was just going to say that it makes you understand that how big this game is in terms of the playoff picture, the playoff chances of these two teams.
Yeah, it's just getting more physical. They both know the implications of this game, and it's also a setting that you just get to see. It's starting to feel like a playoff atmosphere kind of games. These two teams could eventually match up in the playoffs down the road, and just getting some kind of psychological edge heading into the final stretch is a plus for anyone.
Mono, an unforced error there as Lamb dribbles that ball off of his foot and to the backcourt. You know what? 19-14. Saigon has more turnovers compared to Mono Vampire, but it felt like the errors of Mono were more costly. Difficult shot! Trayvon Hughes, is there anything that he can't do?
Hughes coming up huge with that shot, and he signals to the crowd. He knows how important that was.
That was such a big shot, giving Saigon its largest lead of the game at 9 points. Only 2 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in this ball game. We'll be back after this timeout. Under 3 minutes remaining in this ball game, and you see the matchup between Jan Dangqua and Tyler Lam. So far, the local of Saigon, well, he's doing such a great job here. Really anchored a massive run for the Saigon Heat.
Yeah, he had a strong start to the second half, and it's been carried further on by Trayvon Hughes here in the fourth quarter.
Singletary did not drain the three-pointer. He's now 0 for 6 or 7 from downtown, but he does have a triple-double and is 3 steals away from quadruple-double. Offensive foul on Hamilton. You know what? That was also forced by the ward-off of Trayvon Hughes. Hughes pretty much pushed Apiron Vilaychay into that pick, and Hamilton was not set up yet. You'll see it here.
But you know what? The reputation of the he just does a great job of kind of selling these kind of contacts, and it's easy for the refs to just clearly see what's going on between those two guys and making the calls.
What was the turning point of this game, TK? Earlier, Mono had full control of it, and now they're down by 9.
And I just feel like Mono Vampire felt too comfortable in control of the game and just kind of cruised a little bit as the Saigon Heat just really never backed down. And that's never something you want to fall into early in the game, especially with so much time left in the clock for the other team to just make a comeback run.
Lambrook looking to resuscitate his squad. Perron tried to put in the dagger. Tyler gets the board. Almost stolen away. Lamb recovers, takes it to the cup, but throws it away. He's trying to plead his case, but Tyler Alab will lose that basketball for Mono Vampire.
And that's a couple of possessions already here in the clutch where it's just bad turnovers from the Mono Vampire.
Hamilton from the feed from Kwa.
Another great feed there by Chandang Kwa. 7 assists already. It's just a great game all around.
Morgan from the corner.
And foul.
And that is going to be the 5th foul on Trayvon Hughes. Apiron Vilaychai fishing for a big one. And he caught the last foul of Hughes. But with 1:15 remaining in this game, will there be enough from Mono Vampire to overcome this 8-point deficit? Corey Celia checking into the game, replacing Hughes. Apiron Vilaychai will shoot a pair of free throws.
You got to remember, Apiron Vilaychai came up huge against the game against the Hong Kong Eastern last week. Hit that big 3 down the stretch. He's been clutch for this Mono Vampire squad.
You wouldn't necessarily put the ball in his hands come crunch time, but if it does land there, he can hit big shots. He can also get steals, but Saigon recovers that time. Hoa to the cross court to Baron. The guard recovers. Well, against Singletary, a minute remaining in this ball game. Saigon up by 7. Celia swings it to Baron. Kyle Baron misses. And Koa is holding on to his right knee. Looks like in severe pain. Look at him clenching. Grimacing in pain. Not a good look for the Saigon Heat. We're hoping he's okay. It was a bad fall for Chandang Kwa. And look at him really suffering right now. This is a bad sight for Saigon, especially at how big Coatran has been for them. Not just in this game, TK, but throughout their their run for the playoffs.
Yeah, the entire season, he's just showed great development, great improvement. He started off the season off the bench. Coach Kyle Julius was a bit hesitant of actually putting him in the rotation early in the season just because of how young he is. And he just fought his way up to become a legit starter in this lineup, an irreplaceable starter. Just to see him go line like that, we just wish him a speedy recovery of whatever kind of injury he is suffering at right now.
It's always the worst sight in sports when someone gets hurt. And, you know, at this point, I know Saigon will most likely have to play the rest of this game without Tran. The imports of both teams, and Mike Singletary and Trayvon Hughes, big parts in their systems. This is a worse sight with Tran unable to put any weight on that leg. Has to be carried back to his bench. Still, we're hoping that he's okay. I mean, just a couple of games ago, TK, the Macau Black Bears, their import Anthony Tucker went down with a fracture on his foot. It will be out for 4 to 6 weeks. And obviously, not good news, especially as we're nearing the playoffs. Mono, a very important possession. Lamb gets that 3 to fall.
The Saigon Heat here, they're going to be really tested on how well they can handle the ball. They're 2 premier ball handlers on the bench. It's going to be a tough stretch here in the final seconds.
crucial times inside Stadium 29 as the lead of Saigon Heat down to 4 points following a big three-pointer from Tyler Lamb. That man has gone up to 19 points. And now the knee of Jan Dang Hua being iced, and he is still obviously in pain, but we got a glimpse of the numbers of two other imports, Romeo Travis and D'Angelo Hamilton. Mike Singletary with a triple-double here. But it's been Tyler Lamb here in the fourth quarter looking to resuscitate his squad. And that's a 5-second violation on the Saigon Heat. So the chances of Mono Vampire, it goes a little bit higher with that big stop.
And that's just what happens when Hughes and Chandakwa are out of the game. They just struggle to have anyone being able to get the ball.
Lamb. Quick trigger, Morgan recovers. Lamb again goes for the three. This time comes up short. Travis, are they in need of a three-pointer? They don't get any in 3 attempts. And a lot of extracurricular activities. Tempers flaring. Is that an elbow swing by Baron, or was he trying to just free himself up?
Gonna see what the refs are gonna decide on that, but tempers obviously flaring as the game heads into this final crucial seconds. Such a close game too.
Well, a foul was whistled on Aperon Vilaichai. Looks like that's going to be the only call.
You could hear there on screen a little bit as well. D'Angelo Hamilton just walking straight up to Aperon Vilaichai, just telling him to quit flopping. And that's the kind of reputation that he's gained over the season. That's what he does. He gets into the head of the opposing team. That's the kind of the effect that he has on the game.
Baron, you know what? He could have iced the game if he knocked down both free throws, but he leaves the door a little bit open, missing that first one.
Both teams, though, they've missed 11, 12 free throws already in this game, just leaving a lot of opportunities left there at the line.
Mono with a chance here. Singletary, the spin. Mike draws the foul on Hamilton, and he will head to the line. I'm thinking back to the possession that Mono had before that pair of Baron free throws. They were really looking for the three-pointer. Was it really necessary at that point?
Well, actually, that seemed like a little bit of rushing into their shots, both by Lamb and Morgan. They were down by 4 points. It was a 2-possession, 3-possession game. They had plenty of time to get cleaner shots. Romeo Travis as well, he got a rebound down low in the paint. He made a point to just go out and get an opportunity to shoot out a three. Just a weird sequence of what kind of shot Mono Vampire were looking for. Fortunately for them, on this end, Singletary just attacked the basket. He's going to be able to stop the clock, get chances to put more points on the board.
Well, we'll see the result of this free throw. Doesn't get it. And free throws continuing to haunt Mono Vampire. Mike Singletary, usually a steady free throw shooter, fails on that first one. Gets the second. It's a 3-point advantage for the Saigon Heat. A jump ball forced by Mono Vampire. And Coach Kyle Julius on the floor already. He's complaining. Livid on the sidelines. He might get teed up. He entered the court out of frustration.
And he's got to watch out. He's got to know that he has the lead. And it's not the end of the world to lose a possession here like this. You have a 3-point lead. There's 12 seconds on the clock. you can just hold it down on defense and hope for the best. But if you lose a technical foul here, that's an even bigger blow.
Oh, he was practically asking for it, running to the middle of the court. I know he's frustrated, but again, TK, in times like this, where it's close and certain calls don't go your way, that's really when composure is tested. But how about the defense of Travis and Apiron Vilaychay, understanding that Stefan Nguyen just entered the game, and you see Coach Kyle Julius there. That was the sequence earlier, the scene earlier. He was in the middle of the court already. They pressured the guy who just checked into the game in the final half minute of it. And so Lamb will be shooting a technical free throw here. Tyler gets it. It's only a 2-point deficit that Mono Vampire is facing.
What a turn of events this has been for the Saigon Heat. Some unfortunate and just some of their own doing of having a lack of that deeper bench to go through.
Shot clock is off now. As you can see, there's littler time on the game clock compared to the shot clock. Lamb gets it. They go inside. Travis, the reverse! He ties the game! 6.9 seconds remaining. Celia, Durker stepping on the line.
Wow.
I am at a loss for words, TK, at what happened in the final minute of this game.
Great catch there by the refs. Only so slightly. So 0.8 seconds. That's just enough time to get off a shot. What a turn this has been for both teams.
Lamb from beyond half court will not win it in regulation, but they will have a chance in overtime, as 40 minutes not enough to settle this battle between the Saigon Heat and Mono Vampire. No more Malcolm White for Mono, no Naporn Sangtong, but on the side of the Saigon Heat, no Trayvon Hughes, and Koa Tran also going down with an injury. 5 more minutes of ABL basketball when we return. We are heading into free basketball, an extension inside Stadium 29. The Saigon Heat will have to play these next 5 minutes without their main man, Trayvon Hughes. On the other side, Mono will be without Malcolm White, as they have been for the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. Who hurts more from those losses?
Well, the Saigon Heat, they're missing 2 key players, and they've really never played with much depth throughout the entire season. What a great timing to sign Stefan Nguyen. This is only his 2nd game of the season, and he's going to be tested so hard here in this next 5 minutes. This is going to mean a lot for the Saigon Heat and how teams will be able to approach them, whether it's in the playoffs or in the final games of this regular season.
Well, we begin overtime period now. Hamilton, Barone, Turker, Celia, and Nguyen for the Saigon Heat in red. 12 seconds on their shot clock. D'Angelo Hamilton forces it up and in. Now for the black shirts, Mono Vampire, the 5 on the floor for them, Lam Singletary, Travis Apiron Vilaichai, and Moses Morgan. Singletary goes to Morgan, beautiful pass, and that is assist number 11 for Mike Singletary. 4:20 remaining. Celia asking Barone to step out. Nguyen, difficult shot. First attempt he's made in this game. It will be 2 free throws for Moses Morgan. It was a great seal that Morgan did earlier to get advantage on the offensive end, and his hard work on the defensive end also gets Mono Vampire the possession.
He's adjusting his role to be more playing down on the post or playing more inside after playing the past 3 seasons as a premier 3-point shooter for the Saigon Heat. So that's the adjustment that he's had to do. There's been some struggles. He's been locked down in the rotation, but he's adjusting a bit and finding his space in the Mono Vampire squad.
Just to remind you folks that penalty situation in the 4th quarter gets carried over to overtime, and that's why Morgan is at the free throw line. But the woes continue for Mono Vampire. They are now 10 for 23 from the free throw line. Morgan doesn't get the bounce there, and that's a legal play from Barone. As soon as the ball bounces off of that rim, you can tap it out. Barone to Celia, and that's the 2nd time they got caught stepping on the sidelines.
That's something that you've got to be aware of, especially when you're a guy that plays on the perimeter as much as Corey Celia does.
Let's see what happens. Well, yeah, he definitely stepped on it with his right foot. Morgan seeing the advantage there. Moses Morgan coming up big in overtime.
Just being able to take advantage of his size, his wider body down low. Coming up huge for the Mono Vampire in this game.
Celia stepping back. Barone going to work. Foul called on Lamb, so that will mean 2 free throws for Kyle Barone.
2nd personal foul and 2 free throws.
Lamb has been doing a good job of limiting himself. That's only his 2nd personal foul. In his first few games, he had around 4 and even fouled out once. So this is great development for Coach Douglas Marty, being able to know that he can be able to use Tyler Lamb for the length of the entire game.
Well, Barone brings the Heat within 1 point, can tie it with his 2nd free throw. And after just scoring 2 points in the first half, he's now up to 17. Make that 18 and 81 all for these 2 teams. Mono Vampire, Travis having a ball game here. Lamb against Turker, puts up the 3. Battle for the board. Travis showing hunger there. He also wants that basketball against Stefan Nguyen. A mismatch favoring Romeo Travis. Singletary from deep. Nothing there. Apiron Vilaichai. Morgan kicks it out to Lamb. Gets his defender up in the air. Tyler forces it up. How about the hunger of Mono Vampire? Getting it on the 4th try.
It's offensive rebound after offensive rebound. They're just showing that they want it more right now.
Barone in front of Travis. 2.5 minutes remaining in overtime. Celia gauging his attack. Lamb almost got that basketball. Only 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Hamilton, the step back. Nguyen blocked by Singletary, and that will be a shot clock violation on Saigon.
Big defensive possession there by the Mono Vampire, just sticking right in front of D'Angelo Hamilton.
And that is where we saw the most that they are missing the services of their facilitators in Coatran and Trayvon Hughes.
Just right there, D'Angelo Hamilton. He couldn't figure out what to do. Dribbled a bit and wasted even more time. By the time that Stefan Nguyen got the ball, he didn't have a clear shot at that three.
Lamb sending it to Morgan. Moses Morgan parting the Red Sea.
What a big game this has been for Morgan. And he's got to feel good. He's been limited so much in the past few games. Just kind of coming up in the stretch here. It's got to be a good feeling.
He has been spectacular in overtime. Hamilton trying to spark the offense. Perron from the corner, too strong there. And ball will stay with Saigon Heat. Lamb could not get a hold of it. Mono Vampire up by 4 points, 85-81. Kind of saw a glimpse of both Coatran and Trayvon Hughes problematic on the bench. No longer can help their team on the floor. Hamilton, oh! How did he find a way to get that in?
Somehow, he seemed clustered by both Singletary and Tyler Lamb, but still able to roll that in somehow.
Saigon Heat not letting up here. Lamb could not find a way. Durker with a rebound. A minute and 15 remaining. Hamilton in an excellent position. Blocked by Travis. And that is going to be an official timeout as Palm Apiron Vilaychay may have dislocated his finger there. Quickly getting attended to. And you see that even Malcolm White felt the pain on that finger. Apiron Vilaychay, he's hurt. You know, you see it there.
Still, what a job he has done in this game on the defensive end and on those offensive boards. He's been crashing those consistently and forcing the Saigon Heat into awkward possessions when trying to get their defensive rebounds.
Klahan block, try to kick it out to Singletary. Hamilton will foul out of this game after committing that blocking foul on Mike Singletary. A big, big development for the Saigon Heat. So no more Hughes, no more Hamilton. What needs to happen now for Saigon?
They just need to hope that they can get some wide open shots from downtown because Calderon, he just can't stroll out to the perimeter because there's no one left down low. Whale has not played a single minute in this game. He's barely played this season. This is going to be a huge stretch of just bringing the ball up the court for the Heat right now.
Mono Vampire though, TK, they cannot rest on their laurels. They cannot, you know, be too confident, overconfident just because Saigon is missing players, because this is still a ball game. It's just a 2-possession lead for the home team. Barone tried to leave it to Durker. Chris Durker, difficult shot, almost came down. But that will be a foul on Saigon. Moses Morgan will head back to the free throw line. Talk about the emergence of Morgan here in overtime.
He's just been so aggressive on both sides of the court, whether it's collecting defensive rebounds on defense or just attacking down in the post, and we just know how much he just wants to play, and he's showing it.
That's his third missed free throw though in overtime, but he has contributed 6 points in the extension. These are important free throws though. Morgan finally gets one in. Half a minute remaining. Saigon, they need something here. But a turnover is what they get. That hurts their cause.
For me, it's been surprising that the Saigon Heat have gone to Corey Celia to run the offense here in these final minutes. He's been more of a shooter this season, and it's just a wonder why Coach Carl Julius doesn't go to Stefan Nguyen a little bit more, who he had given the opportunity to run the point guard last season as well.
Singletary against Lurker. Mike Singletary just aggressively trying to get to the basket. And he draws another foul. That's going to mean more free throws for Mono Vampire. And it's ironic, TK, how the free throws, the misses of Mono, that allowed Saigon to keep in step with him for really the entire ball game. But it's also the ones that are taking the fight out of the Heat here late in overtime.
And here in these final seconds, the Vampire have practically made all of their free throws. Well, except for that one there, but that's just the way that they've been able to install this lead.
When Celia will tie a 3 in, Mono Vampire will escape with a victory in overtime. What an exciting ball game we witnessed here. But at the end of 45 minutes of basketball action, it's Mono Vampire, the home team, strengthening their chances of making it to the playoffs as they move to a win-loss record of 8-14, clamping down on that 8th spot, at least for now.
Yeah, more of a loss for the Saigon Heat. Not only the actual loss on the scoreboard here in this game is how serious the injury to Chan Dong Kwa is going to be. He's been their starting guard, maybe off guard or point guard, and that's something that might worry Coach Kyle Julius more than the actual result of this game.
Travis with 21 points, Lamb with 20, but the biggest performance arguably from Mike Singletary, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, and 7 steals. Hey, he also had 2 blocks. Malcolm White fouling out late in the game with 6 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Mono still having enough to hold on, and well, it was also the absence of use in that overtime period that did a lot of problems for the Saigon Heat.
But even before Hughes fouled out of the game with Saigon Heat, were already struggling with handling the ball. The turnovers were plaguing them. They finished the entire game with 26 in total, and that was really the biggest downfall of the Heat in this game.
And that will do it for us here in Stadium 29. For my partner TK Kosumbun, the hardworking men and women of the ASEAN Basketball League. My name is Jut Sulit. We'll see you the next game day of ABL Season 9, Rise to Greatness.